Morning, guys. Dr. Nordberg here again. Kind of an interesting subject today to talk to you about. It has a lot to do with how well you do as a deer hunter. The age of the whitetail you take. If you're just hunting fawns and yearlings, it doesn't matter so much. But if you're hunting older deer, especially older bucks, it has everything to do with how well you do. And the strange thing about this subject is, even though it's so important, you don't realize it, how important it is, because you don't get to see it in action. It's kind of crazy. It works against you. But before I get into the subject, I want to remind you again, I'm trying not to belabor myself too much about this, but please subscribe to my YouTube channel today. Press that red button down at the bottom here. And also, give that little thumbs up a poke. And I'm sure you're going to want to do that after you hear this. So, anyway, the reason this subject came to mind is that just yesterday, somebody that's been watching my YouTube presentations had a question. A good question. At first I thought, well, it's kind of a crazy question, but it's a really good question. The more I thought about it, I said, I got to talk about this. His question was something like this. If you're in the woods, deer hunting, and right now you're faced with having to make a sound. You know it's going to be a sound that can be heard. Should you make it as quickly as possible, like he said, like when pulling a bandage off, get the pain done quick, or should you do it slowly? Well, right away I said, the first word I put down in my reply, and it's probably you can read it right now today on my YouTube channel. But anyway, I said the first word was slowly in capital letters. And let's talk about why. Well, let me tell you about a deer that one of my grandsons dealt with last year. He walked about a mile and a half to get to a special stand site along a little stream. And this stand site was one of those metal ready-made things, with a ladder attached to it. And he did everything just right. He got there from downwind and got up there to the top and turned around, sat down on the seat in there. And this stand site has a bar that goes around the front. After you sit down, you bring it down. Well, he just brought it down softly, didn't want to make any sound. So he sat up there for a couple hours that morning, got there early, in the dark, but it was full light. And, after a couple hours, you're going to move a little bit. That happens. But he was well camouflaged up there by surrounding evergreens. And so as long as it wasn't likely any deer nearby was going to spot him making the movement, especially doing it slow. That's another thing about slow we'll get to. Well, when he raised his arms to move a little bit, he leaned against this bar going across the front and discovered it wasn't all the way down. When he put a little weight on it, went click, a metallic click. And almost immediately, one of the biggest bucks he'd ever seen in the woods stood up in deep grass about 50 yards away, it was that close, and took off. And by the time he got turned around, it was way over there, and he just a couple little glimpses of it going between trees and evergreens over in that direction, and it was gone. And he just, you never forget those kind of things. He'll think of that 50 years from now. That great big buck, but that one click did it. Now, if he could have somehow gotten a hold of that thing like I do with two thumbs on the tang on my rifle, on my Ruger, to get it going from the safe position to the firing position. I have to use two thumbs like that when I know there's a deer near to ease it over so it doesn't go click. If I do it real slowly, there's no sound. It'll be real, so I do it real slowly and get over there. If I just go like that, it'll go click. And any mature whitetail, any whitetail 2.5 years of age or older, not all 2.5-year-olds, some 2.5-year-olds are as goofy as yearling bucks, but most of them are. But if they hear that click, boy, it's just like they get stung like a bee. I mean, just instantly they realize this is dangerous. But you know, with older deer, older whitetails, you know, you got to accept this fact. There's nothing you can do about it. The older deer, especially older bucks, are much better at finding and identifying and avoiding it. Much better at that than you are at managing to get close to where they are without them knowing it. And, or managing to stay undiscovered close to them without them knowing it. They're so good at it. And this is, you know, a problem because most of us can't believe it happens as often as it does because we never see it happen. And older bucks, if they decide, I don't have to be in a hurry because that human over there isn't acting like he knows I'm here, or it doesn't really matter. So older bucks much prefer to sneak away quietly. They don't like to have to raise their tail and bound away noisily. But what they want to do is get away silently without you even knowing it. It might be happening over here or back there or the sides or even out in front, you know. But they all keep intervening cover between you and them so you don't see them. Well, even when they're bounding, like in the case of my grandson and this huge buck jumping, you know, moving out real fast. Most of the time you couldn't see it until it was way over there, too far, and by the time he gets his gun up, it's gone, and that's it. Well, that's typical with older bucks. That's one of the reasons you don't see them very often, or even at all in an entire hunting season. And it's hard for you to believe this is going on, maybe several times a hunting season without your knowledge, because older bucks do that, you know. Nonetheless, you better start believing it, because if you don't, you're not going to be doing things right when it comes to sounds and even motions. Now, like I said, I had one YouTube presentation I did a while back about, you know, going to your stand site, climbing up there in the morning early without a cartridge in the chamber of your rifle. A smart thing to do. Especially if, like, two of you are walking along the same trail, one behind the other. You guys shouldn't be walking into anywhere like that with a bullet in the chamber. You should have it up. Not even load up till you get to your stand, up into your stand. You finally get your gun up there, and now you can do it. And I was showing you how to put a cartridge into the chamber. You open it up just partway, not fully up, maybe 2/3 or up to 3/4 open. No sound. You just do it real slow, put it in, then stick the bullet in there, and then close it. I've had it happen quite a few times in my, how many years now? 73 years of whitetail hunting, where I can remember one time I had a buck show up real close, about 30 yards away, and he was rubbing scalp musk on a branch overhanging a ground scrape. And boy, I was all excited. I got the gun up real slowly and took a shot. And I was sitting at ground level, and there was all kinds of cover in front of me, low-growing mountain maples and hazels and stuff like that. And so I got the gun up, looked in the scope, and I didn't pay any attention to what was between me and the buck. And I pulled the trigger, you know, I aimed right at his throat patch. It was facing me. And he had a boy, he hit him right in the middle of that throat patch. Down, that's it. No movement. But so, that's what I was going for. And that, I'm known for that kind of shot. I've been doing that so long. And that's Dad's favorite shot. And it's one shot, you know, they hear that, oh, Dad, well, he probably shot one of the throat patch. They're saying that. But anyway, in this case, when I pulled the trigger, it shot and fired, big loud explosion. Nothing happened. The deer was standing there. In fact, it started looking right at me. And of course, I had my head net on, so maybe I looked like a grouse or squirrel over there. Couldn't see the rest of me with all the cover in front of me. And there I was, and oh gosh, you know, I was just standing there. And so I had to open that bolt and ease it back slowly. Watching him, and he's watching me, like he has a puzzled expression on his face. What is that over there? and then instead of letting that bullet go pop out of there, I got a hold of it and lifted it out and took it out and put it in my lap. And then I got the loose one I was carrying in my pocket, bring it up, and I eased it in there. But all this while he was watching me. And I closed the bolt, eased it forward, and when you ease it slowly, you can do it without really much sound at all. I finally got over there and turned the bolt to lock it down, and all this time he was watching me, and then finally I brought it up again, and I looked through the scope, and I could see why I didn't hit him. That's my 7mm Magnums. I love the cartridge. And they're deadly, and long range and flat shooting. Everything about them is great, but they're not brush cartridges, what you might call, like maybe a 30-30 or 30-06 or a 12-gauge slug. It can plow through those things and stay right on course. But that 7mm, 150 grain, it can hit a little twig and ricochet or explode. I've taken the biggest buck I ever shot and had it explode and hit the deer, that biggest buck, 5 times. And it was like hitting him with buckshot. So it can do that, and so that I could see what happened there, and so I started leaning and looking for him, and finally there was a little one there, doing all this very slowly, all the while the buck's looking at me. And there we got a little opening right to the center of that throat patch. Pow! Buck's gone. Back over there, they're laying on this ground screen. And you couldn't do that. You'd never get away with that. You know, you can see how little I had to see, you know, you get in a hurry, you know, it's like you got a big fish on, I can't wait to get it in the net. But if I were to go click, click, boy, by the time I got it up and tried to get it on that buck, he would have been gone, and maybe I'd have hit another branch in between, besides. So, when it comes to making a sound, if you're faced with the problem of doing it, it'd be much better to go slow, 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 and it'll make it much less conspicuous than making one quick one and getting it over with, because no matter how good you are, you're not going to be quick enough to get it up there and get it centered on that deer just right and take a shot at it. So, slow. Now, don't have to argue about moving. Well, you know, whitetail eyes are super sensitive to motion. Their sense of sight is one of the things that gives them a great range. You know, you see through all this area, 250 degrees. When the whitetail is looking this way, with his eyes on the sides of his head like they are, it can spot motion throughout an arc 270 degrees in width, way back here, like that. I can't see anything there. They can. They can see everything but this 90-degree angle right behind them, right behind the head. And everything up this way as well, you know, from ground way up in the tree. Now, when the winds are really strong in the woods, all kinds of things are moving rapidly. You know, and this is, whitetails don't like that, you know, because it's hard for them under those circumstances to notice there's a wolf over there. It just made a motion. I said, just saw that. There's something moved over there. Look, something over there moved. And it's up above the ground, or maybe it's high above the ground. It's that high above the ground. Well, in our country, that's got to be a moose or a man or another deer. And so, anyway, so now that I saw that movie, I got to watch and listen and smell and see what it is. That's important. This sensitivity in their eyes to spotting motion is really important to them. Well, when it's really windy and things are moving all over the place, it kind of masks movements you might be making while you're sitting in a tree stand or walking to your stand site. It kind of masks that. You're a lot harder to see. And wolves are too. And the deer know it. And when it's like that, when winds exceed, you know, in our country, and most other states actually, when winds exceed 14 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour or faster, there's so much motion in the woods that rather than take a chance on running into a dangerous predator or human, when it's like that, they'll skip a feeding cycle. They won't go out. They will, all day long, they'll stay in their beds. It's too darn dangerous to be out there when all this motion is going on. Now, they are less bothered when the winds are progressively less in intensity. Like when you finally get down to where the winds are only, calm to 5 miles an hour, deer are most active during the day because during that, when the winds are that soft or non-existent, any motion they see out there is made by some living creature. It might be just a bird. You know, a bird up the tree goes, well, they probably might not pay attention to it. But anything that's, you know, sizable, above ground level, they're going to pay really good attention to it. And nowadays, because almost every hunter in the United States, 15 million of us, have been using tree stands since the mid-1980s, they're all looking up there now too. They finally learned how to do that. And you see one up there, and if the thing that moved is this big black object framed against the bright sky, it's a big up there. No, I'm sure bears go out, they don't go up there and sit around all day in a tree. That's got to be a human. The older bucks know that. They absolutely know that. No, don't ever believe animals can't be smarter than you, especially if it's an older buck and you're out there in the area it knows better than anybody else, and you're facing an animal that is so good at this that you hardly know it exists because of it. So, this is why when you move, you're going to have to move. I mean, I don't care who you are, unless you're dead. When you're in a tree or sitting on your stool at ground level, you're going to have to move sometimes. Sometimes you're sitting there and say, I just got to stretch my knees. Or my back is getting just miserable. Or my bottom is sore than heck. I got to ease the pain on one side or the other. Whatever. You're going to have to move. And this is why it's so that, especially when you're hunting older bucks, why it's so important to have really good cover around your body to hide those motions, because they're going to happen. There's no way you can believe, oh no, I don't have to, I won't move for the next 4 or 5 hours. Don't believe that for 1 minute. You're going to move, one way or another. And then when the deer does come here, now you can see the darn thing, which means it's probably within 20, 30 yards, or maybe even right there, 10 yards away. And now you're stuck here with your bow down or your gun down, and you got to get it up. So, what that means is, and then you're going to put it up into the range where you've been able to see, you know, your head's sticking up above most of that. One of the reasons that if I'm at ground level and say I have a boulder or a fallen tree in front of me, right there where I'm looking through it, here to there, I will calmly take an evergreen bough, get out my sharp knife, or a pruner, I carry that tool for that, little one, and cut off an evergreen bough, stick it in up there so it kind of masks my face, not completely, but I can look through all the little parts here that are up in front of my face, maybe a couple, one on this side, one on this side. So I'll be less likely to see my head movements, or a deer will be less likely at short range. Because that even up here, with the part that's exposed, because it's got to be exposed so I can see what's going on around me, won't be as visible. And then, like with the sounds, rather than getting it over and just, here's a deer, throwing up your gun like that, that kind of emotion will instantly get a deer's attention in that whole 270-degree arc around you. And this way too, you know, vertically. So get their attention every time. And if it's an older buck, he's not going to stand around trying to figure out whether there's something dangerous or not, because he knows it's dangerous. You know, the things that want to eat him are the ones that are most likely to make very quick motions for no particular reason. You know, another deer will do it when they become alarmed. It can take a fawn or a yearling, take a long time to decide, well, maybe that's dangerous and I should run away. So, but, or the younger deer's mother might just go snort, and oh my. Young deer, like a fawn, can react two ways, just drop immediately into deep grass or run to the mother, you know, one or the other. But the responses are instantaneous then. So, excuse me. So, to make it really difficult for whitetails to identify you that are near, like within 50 yards, that's the rule around you, unless you made the mistake of sitting in an area where you can see way over there and over there and over there. Well, I think whitetails, those bucks and other older deer, will be able to see you from way over there and way over there and way over before you ever even realize they're near. Because most of the time, they're moving slowly, looking around, they're often stopping, or they're eating. And of course, when they eat, they're going chomp, 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 chomp. But clouds are only hearing even. That's a visible sound. They reach down, grab some grass, go rip, chomp, 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 chomp. Or here's this nice red osier that our whitetails really love. It goes with that snap, real soft snap, and then chomp, 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 chomp. And it's slow. Well, anything else that's sneaking around that's not going chomp, 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 that's not a deer. And it's stomping often. No chomp, chomp, chomp. Nothing like that going on. They hear that real easily. Oh, they're going to be fooled by that. So anyway, when you're in the stand, always remember, if you got to make a sound, like moving your boot, let's say, oh, geez, I got to move my leg, rather than go like that. Get the movement and the powerful sound that goes with it. Your boot coming down slope on your stand point. Rather than do that, raise it slowly, and move it slowly, real slowly, and ease it down slowly. Or anything like that. Well, whatever you do, you're not going to be stuck in a tree stand, or you should be, with your only source of something to drink in a metal pop can. Pop, well, there's no way to make that do anything but go pop when you open it. What you should have is something screw top, and that you can do slowly. If you turn it real quick, it might go click, but go real slowly, and screw it real slowly, and then bring it back. Then maybe sit there for a minute, watch in every direction, this thing, moving really slowly, and then finally it's like, I don't think there's a deer around now. Move slowly to get it to your lips, and slowly to drink it. Put it down, slowly when it comes to motion and slowly when it comes to sounds is superior. Now, if you never knew that before, not paying attention to that kind of thing, it could be the most important reason you're not seeing many older deer, especially older bucks, because they are so sensitive to that. Quick motions and quick audible sounds, one click, something like that. Yeah, even wild turkeys are sensitive like that. One of their big signals is that something is bad close, is a quick pop, and holy cow, they're all flying every which way when that happens. And you've seen it, if you're a turkey hunter, you know that. So, I remember when I first got my first cedar call, and there was all these directions about making sounds to attract turkeys. Turkey, my cedar call, I could gobble and do all those things with the chalk on it. One of the things, they were saying the cluck. And I learned fairly soon, the cluck, cluck, was the worst sound you could make. You don't want that. That was a warning. And man, those turkeys respond so quick to that. You know, it's so quick. I've watched turkeys do that so often when my wife and I spent our parts of our winters down in the Buffalo Lake National Wildlife Refuge, where we studied whitetails, both whitetails and mule deer actually, and turkeys. And we had turkeys roosting in a tree right next to our travel trail every night. So we saw turkeys. So anyway, remember that from now on. If you just don't forget to do that now. Make your motions slow, especially when you're tree stand. When you're walking to the tree stand, the way you walk makes every difference about how deer will react to you. But that's another story. And I've already covered that quite a bit. But anyway, when you're in the tree stand, slowly is the word, whether for motion or sound. Hopefully not too much in the sound category, but that's the way to do it. Now, I've had slowly pay out for me quite a few times. And I remember one time I went out in the afternoon and with my rifle chamber empty and got up at the tree stand and I was sitting up there for a couple hours and oh, here comes a buck. It wasn't a real big buck, but it was decent, 2.5 room. And I remember bringing my rifle, doing all the slowly stuff, pull the trigger, and my gun went click. I had forgotten to load that darn thing. Wow, when that went click, that deer stopped. And it was looking everybody, it was standing in a bunch of thick hazels, and it was looking every which way, and I thought, oh geez, I'll probably not have a chance here. But I went through the slowly technique of getting that bullet in the chamber and getting my rifle back up, and I got it, one shot. Slowly is the word, okay? Remember that. And slowly means you'll see many more big bucks. So, there you go. And with that, remember now, subscribe to my YouTube channel and and do me a favor, poking that little thumbs up thing. And thanks a lot, guys. And we're getting close to deer season, so I'm going to start telling you, good luck this fall. Be sure to visit my website. Here's the link. Here you'll find links to my blog posts, my Twitter account, my YouTube account, my Amazon store with links to my ebooks, my son's eBay store, a money saver if you're ordering from Canada or other countries, my website bookstore, and much more.